Hi, good morning everybody. This is Christman Crafts. Hope everyone's staying safe, and today I have two different designs for masks for you to make. I'll show you how to make a pattern. The first one is going to be made with this pattern, and it kind of looks like this. I use different things on the sides so that you can adjust them. They're just little balls with little like sweatshirt adjusters. Now the other ones are made like this. They're nice and square. They have pleats in the front. You can put elastic on the sides, and they're made with a room to put a little filter in if you want to. You can use a dried up baby wipe. You can use a coffee filter or anything, you know, that will fit in there. And let's get started. And these are made from just an old t-shirt. I used this one of Mark's. He has a couple stains on the front, and you can use your special t-shirt so that you know which one's yours, or whatever you want to do. So for these ones, for the square ones, we want to make a pattern. What I used was just a 8" by 8", okay? And you want to put one side on the fold. So it will be 8 inches on one side, and it'll be 16 on the other side, and you want to fold it in half, okay? Now I just used the back of a regular notepad. Okay, that's for the square one. So you have 8 inches by 8 inches. Mine was 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then you just fold it over and put it on the seam, and you're good to go. So the second one is a fitted mask. It has a nice curve, okay, and it's very easy to make. You don't have to pre-order one. You don't have to download it or anything. It's very easy to make. I'll do it on a piece of paper. You can do it on whatever you want, but I'll show you how easy it is to make. So what you want to do is, from here to here is 7 inches, okay? So you want to just measure 7 inches up. From here to here is 5. So you want to measure up 7 inches, and then right in the middle you want to put a point 5 and 5 across. So I want to just I'm going to put the edge on the edge. So I don't have a binder, but I'm just going to go halfway up, and I'm going to go 7 inches up. So I'm going to measure 7 inches up, and then I'm going to go half of 7 is 3 1/2. So I'm going to put a point right here. Okay. Same thing with the back. I'm going to measure up 7 inches, and then I'm going to put a point at 3 1/2 right here. Okay. Now the back of this is 3 inches. See, it's 3 inches. Okay. So right on that point is halfway. So half of 3 is 1 1/2. So I'm going to put that point on there, and I want it to be here and here for the back piece, okay? So the back piece will be here to here. That'll be that piece. See, that'll be that piece. It's 3 inches right there, okay? Now, in order to get this curve here, okay, I just used a Cool-Whip lid, okay? It has a nice curve. Okay, and you can just use any type of lid. You can use coffee can, you can use whatever you want. I'm just going to kind of center this here in the middle. Okay, actually I'm a little bit too far, so I'm going to go halfway from this line to this line. You might want to make the whole line so you have a better idea of where you want to go. Okay, so you just want to center. You want to use your point here, and you just want to center it in between. From point to point was 3 1/2, okay? So it was 3 1/2 from point to point over here, okay? So I'm going to measure up 3 1/2, and I'm going to put a little dot. Same with down here. I'm going to measure up 3 1/2 and put a little mark. Okay, so the whole point of using this is just to get the roundness of your nose is going to be, okay? So I'm going to turn it around so it's even to me, and I'm going to put it right on, even with these two marks, and even with that. So I'm just going to move over to the mark and just make a curve to here, and then I'm just going to move over to this mark and make a curve to here, just like that. And then what you want to do is you just want to to make the curve even. You can even make it come out a little bit right there. But that's all you do. That's it. That is your curve, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, it's pretty close to what mine is, so that's pretty good. I made it a little bit longer because mine was just a tad bit shorter. So mine was like 6.5, I think, but it's better if you make it a little bit longer so that for the seam allowance. Now, to make this curve, you do the same thing, okay? But you do it the opposite way, okay? You just stick your lid in here, you go from the point, you go from this point all the way down to that point, and that's it, okay? Now if you use the lid, it's the same on the other side too, okay? You just put the, let's do it this way. You put the point here and you put the point here, and there you go. And there you have your mask design, okay? Now it's not as perfect as mine, but it's very, very similar. It'll work just the same. So we got our design, okay? So we're gonna put our design away and we're just gonna cut it out on a piece of paper. So if you cut it out on your paper, this one doesn't have a filter on it at all. Kind of looks like a hatchet blade. And there you have it. A little bit bigger than mine, but I found that the ones that are a little bit bigger are better so that you can have a seam allowance and you don't have to be like perfect with how much you sew. So here's just design. And like I said, this one is 8 inches by 8 inches, and you just put the one side on the fold, so it'll be 8 inches by 16 inches. So there we go, we got it. So how we start, we get our piece, our big t-shirt, and I have already used the bottom of it for practice pieces. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this top piece here, and I'm going to cut off the sleeve. What I'm going to do is, I cut off the sleeve, and mine is big enough so that I can use my pattern right on my sleeve. And I don't even have to use the rest of it. So basically you just kind of try to find where your pattern is gonna fit on your t-shirt. Like I said, I use the bottom piece. I have a rotary cutter, and this is hard enough, I can just cut it right through it. So I'm just gonna cut off. Okay, so you take your pattern off, and you want to open up your mask, okay? So what we do is we make a little seam at the top, okay? You're gonna make a 1/4 inch seam. What you're gonna do with this fabric, you really don't have to make a complete fold. Like I found some people like fold it down once and then fold it down again and like actually seal that seam. You really don't have to do that because this material is not gonna unravel. So you kind of do that on material that you think is going to unravel so you can wash it. So if you just fold it over once. And some people use clips. I don't have clips, so I'm just going to use a needle. I always sew to the left, so I always put the pins to the left. Underneath my machine, I always go to the left. So here we go. We got this side. You flip it over. Now you're going to put it on the short edge. So you want to fold it over just a little tiny bit, just about a 1/4 inch. Okay, you come over to the machine, stick it underneath the pressure foot, and turn your machine on, and here we go. You want to sew on the bottom edge of it. Take out your pin. I have a little cutter on the side. Do the other side. And make sure you fold it. This is the wrong side. Make sure you fold the right side down and the wrong side showing. That's a helpful tip. So, once you get this seam sewed at the very edges, you measure in 1 inch and you put a pin. You measure in 1 inch, put a pin. Now you want to sew in 1 inch and 1 inch. So that will leave a little gap here so that you can have a little pocket for your filter. So I'll sew this and I'll be right back. So after you get the sides sewn and you leave the little hole in the middle, you get the side sewn, you lay it down, wrong side down, and you want to roll the edge. You want to roll where your pocket opening is down to the edge of your square, okay? After you get it down to the edge of your square, this is where you're going to determine what you're going to tie your mask on with. Whether you want to use the little tabs I showed you at the beginning with the little adjusters for the sweatshirt, or you want to use elastic, or you want to use ties. What I decided on was ties made out of the t-shirt. Okay, I cut these in 1-inch strips, and then I just cut them as long or as short as you want. And you might want to fold them over when you put them to your mask, because it'll fit in the corners of your mask a little bit better if you fold it over when you go to sew it. So you just put them at the corners, this corner, the 4 corners, and then you sew straight down. You leave the opening so you can turn it right side out. So I'll sew it and I'll put it together and we'll be back. And now we're ready for the pleats. Okay, the pleats should be about 6.5. You want to measure it, and you want to measure down like 1 inch, and then you do 1 inch here and 1 inch here, and then you do 1/2 inch. You do 1 inch, 1/2 inch, inch, inch. Okay, so after you get this measured down here, like I said, you just do 1 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch in the middle, 1/2 inch, inch. So it's basically, just so it's even, all the way down. So when you do your pleats, now you want to make sure that all your pleats are facing down. So this is the back side of it. So you want to measure on the other side too. I just put marks on this side. I didn't put the pins on it. So you want to flip it over. Okay. And what you do, you just set your pins on top of the other pin. Okay. You take your pins out and then you pin it on the front, just like that. So second one, you fold your pins down just like that. Just trying to do the pleats on the sides before my camera went bust. When you sew, make sure you don't catch your edges in here on your mask. Make sure you don't catch your edges. It's very easy to do, okay? Now after you get your pleats in, you're pretty much done. You can measure these out. The top one is 18 inches. 18, and the bottom one is 14. So this mask will be all done. So the second one is the fitted one that we made the pattern for, and I already have them cut out. Now when you cut these out, you cut 4 of them out. So you put them on there, you use your fabric or your t-shirt or whatever you have, okay? Now you want to fold them right sides together, and you want to sew them on the curved edge, okay? So you sew them on both curved edge. So then when you have that sewed on both curved edge, you open up to the right side and right side, and you pin them together. So they go inside each other, just like that. And whether or not, depending on what kind of side you want to put on here, this is when you add your straps. So we have our straps here. I'm just going to use the shorter ones. So we have one that's like 29 inches, so you cut that in half, that'll be like roughly like 14. 3 and 4. We'll just leave them long and then you can just cut them, okay? So we want to put them right here at this edge and right here at this edge. So these 2 edges on this side. But you want to put them inside here. So what I do is I usually just fold them in half and do a little tuck. So you only have the edges. And I found it easier if you bend the edges over, since these are 1 inch, and make it a little bit smaller at the edges, it works a lot better. Keep an opening, just sew over here and keep this opening open so you can flip it right side out when you're done. So we're going to get piece number 2. You do these middle pieces, you want to make sure that you fold them over the same. So if you fold this top one over, you want to fold this top one over too. So it's the same, so you don't get like a bend in it, okay? So on this one, we're going to fold this one to the left and this one to the right. I'm going to make sure this is flat. See what happened there? You want to make sure that's all nice and flat. When you sew this, you want to sew it like start here and go all the way around the edges, all the way around, and come around and leave it right here so you have this little spot here so you can flip it out. So here's what it looks like when we get it all top stitched. Nice little stitching all the way around. So here you have it. So from our 2 patterns,
We have two different kinds. So we have this pattern. It turned out like this. I prefer this one better because I think it fits on your face better. It's a lot more comfortable, okay? And then we have this one pleated with a room for a filter. This is Joelene from Christman Crafts, and I hope you have a great day. I hope you stay safe, and I hope you enjoy making these. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see my future videos. I try to post once a week or more if I have time. I do a variety of different crafts, so if you have something specific, comment in the comment section and let me know what you want some info on. So, happy crafting! Goodbye!